Hey guys, come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Happy Monday to you all. Happy Monday. I'm just making sure that everybody can hear me and we're good to go. So I'm check inside of my Facebook group to make sure that you can hear me and we are good to go. Let me test. Okay, good. We are. We're good to go. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Okay. If this is your first time catching me live or you're tuning in from YouTube, go over to joinsherry.com so you can be part of our group. We have a group exclusive for females who are in the insurance and financial space. So make sure that you go over there to join all the fun. Every Monday we come to you live with a free training. So if you want more of these type of trainings, make sure that you're tuning in on YouTube or my business page. Make sure that you go over to our Facebook group and you can go to joinsherry.com. Today, we're going to be talking about your three phases of making money and 3 money milestones. This, I guarantee it's going to be a game changer training today, right? A game changer training today. So, hey, Nikki, I think I just saw Nikki. How you doing? Welcome. Come on in here. I think I just saw Nikki. Look, I'm touching stuff now. Welcome. Come on in. As you come in, as always, tell us who you are. Tell us what you do. We want to make sure that we're speaking on your behalf. Hey, Tara, how are you doing? As I said, 3 phases of making money in 3 money training. Before I dive in, let me just go ahead and say we are ecstatic. We're behind the scene planning our first. Let me tell you, it's our first boutique conference in Orlando, Florida. We're hyping out all the details. I'm so excited to be planning this boutique. I mean, it's one thing to join you in virtual, but it's another thing to see you, meet you, greet you, find out about your business, love on you all the way from the Sunshine State in Florida. We have a conference that's coming up July 15th, and we're going to be literally dropping the link. I'm getting my automation team. We're working on a website right now. So you need to be in the house, like literally. So we haven't dropped the link yet, but I love for my community to be the first to know stuff before we put it all out there into the public. So that's why I love telling y'all what's going on behind the scenes. So make sure that July 15th, we're having this amazing conference. I'm had to look at my calendar to make sure it was really 15th. All right, so Orlando, baby. Yes. Yeah, like Sherry, y'all always doing stuff in Atlanta. Why not Orlando? Okay, baby, we're in the Sunshine State. Bring your mama down, your cousin down, everybody. Anyways, hope y'all had a great weekend. I had to MC a wedding yesterday, so I just add that to my resume. I MC a lot of conferences, so it was good. Number 1, to have my own, and number 2, I did a wedding yesterday, so it was so beautiful. All right, so let me dive right in about what we're talking about today. Yes, 100%. If you want to be on a waiting list, go ahead and just put in the chat Orlando, and we'll make sure that when we drop the link, you'll be the first to know. All right, moving on. 3 phases of making money. And I wanted to go over this. Grab a Diva notebook and your diamond pen because we're starting right now. I wanted to go over this. I want to go over this training and why this training is so important to me because no one told me this when I'm getting ready to tell you. So grab a Diva notebook, grab a diamond pen because your life is going to change. I promise you. No one tell me these things when I got started. When I got started, I started seeing people who were already at the $1 million mark. And here I am trying to make my first 6 figures. And I was like literally pushing to go to 1 million because my mind was so untrained that I didn't understand the steps of getting to the $1 million. I didn't pay attention that I had to get to my 6 figures first before I had to get to $1 million. I didn't pay attention first that $1 million person have already been in the industry and longer than me, and I've already been at it longer than me, and have more support system, as in like a team and all sorts of stuff that I didn't have in the beginning. So I didn't understand any of that, right? I didn't understand any of that. All my mind was the $1 million is a goal, right? But here I am, I haven't even made $10 yet, right? I've not even made $10 yet. So I wish somebody tell me this. So we're going to break down 3 parts. There's 2 parts. We're going to break down 3 things into each part. So we're going to break down 3 phases of making money, and then we're going to break down your 3 money milestones, because 3 phases of making money is completely different from your money milestones, but it goes together. Yes. It goes together. So give yourself, again, if you're just joining me, tell us who you are, tell us what you do. This is also about you too, because you never know who's looking for you. So make sure you put that in the chat as well. Always be branding. Always be letting people know who you are, because you never know where your ideal client is looking to find you. All right, sounds good. Hey, Tara, how are you doing, gorgeous? Tara is in our Joyful Tribe Academy. Shout out to her. So let me go ahead and just kind of dive in. So understanding the three phases of making money is important because you allow you to set realistic goals, keyword, and develop a plan to achieve them. So realistic goals. It is also help you identify the areas where you need to focus on and your effort to move from one phase to the other. So when we're talking about the three phases of making money, I'm going to start there first. I'm going to talk about the three phases of making money. And you just actually, when I go through these phases, ask yourself, where am I at on the spectrum of these phases? Ask yourself, and again, knowing this, and I encourage you to take time to kind of reflect on that, on where you are currently, right? So, because once you know where you are, it's easier for you to know what you can do at each phase, right? So, I remember when I first started off in the space, I wanted to move from one phase of making money to another phase, and they're like, "Oh, just hire somebody." But if I'm in the beginning phase and I don't have my overhead that I need to have, how do I do that? Right? That don't make sense, right? So let's go through that first, right? Give me a one in the chat if you're ready to go. One in the chat if you are ready and hyped and ready to go, baby. Let's do this. Let's do the It is Monday, and I'm super excited. Always excited to come to y'all with a training on Monday. And hopefully you're getting these trainings, and hopefully you're implementing this training. And again, if you're joining me on YouTube, we're talking about three phases of making money, and the three money milestones. You want to be able to know this as a business owner, as a person in finance. If you're in the insurance space, tax space, bookkeeping space, it's important for you to understand it. Yes, I know you know about money, but we're talking about phases. Right? We're talking about phases. So if you're joining me on YouTube, you're going to hang out with us inside of our group, go to joinsherry.com. All right, let's go. So there are three phases of making money. Phase one, and I think I sent this to your email if you didn't get this one, is your survival phase, right? And let me just back up a little bit before I talk about survival phase. It's important because the reason why you want to know these phases, because sometimes you feel like you're struggling and everybody's doing better than you, when you realize, no, baby, you're just in a phase. You're just in a phase, and if you keep doing, what you're supposed to be doing, like inside of my Joyful Tribe, if they keep doing what I tell them to do, which they do, right, they will move out of the phase that they met me in. They will move out of that phase as long as they follow the model and be patient with the model and follow the model consistently, like I do every week, right? So the survival phase. This is a stage where you focus on meeting your basic needs, right? Food, shelter, clothing. We are living paycheck to paycheck and struggling to make ends meet. That's what we call the survival phase, right? And if you know someone in that phase, I want you to just put 3 in the chat if you know somebody who's in that phase, right? So your survival phase. That it's important to understand that phase because you're just starting to get things off the ground. And whenever I'm talking to somebody and say, "Hey, Sherry, I'm in that phase," when I'll do a coaching call with someone or a sales call. That survival phase, your job, that means you make just enough to cover your basic bills. You make just enough to cover your basic bills. So if you're in that survival phase, I want to elaborate on that just a little bit, right? We're talking about 3 phases of making money, and we're talking about the survival phase. So at that phase, it's hard to say that you are going to hire anyone. It's hard to say that you're going to invest in coaching. It's hard to say that you're going to invest in getting a customer relationship manager for your business, a system for your business, because that's a survival phase, because you're making just enough to cover your personal bills, right? And so what do you need to do? Sometimes, because the goal is to still be an entrepreneur, the goal is to go after your dream. I can only tell you what I did in that phase where you're like, "Hey, I need to cover my basic needs." That's why sometimes I get on a call with you guys, and when the first thing I ask you, your food, how much money do you have coming in? I always ask that question because I want to make sure if you're in the survival phase, this coaching program is not for you, because survival phase, you're having your basic need, your food, shelter, and clothing are so important. So I'm telling you, some of y'all are so amazing. And yes, Joyful Tribe will be amazing for y'all. But if on the call with my team or with myself, we don't take people who are in this survival space. And here's why: because your food, shelter, and clothing come before anything else. So survival, and that should be the same thing with your clients. If you're doing tax professional, if you're doing, if you're in the insurance space and you're selling insurance policy, it's the same way. Because if they're in survival phase, they're gonna be like, listen, should I pay the life insurance or should I pay the light bill? And the light bill is gonna always win, not the life insurance policy, which that's when the chargeback comes in. So you got to learn how to really identify people phases when they're in this business. So that's the survival phase. So Sherry, how do I move from the survival phase where I'm covering food, shelter, and clothing? The real answer to that is you just may need to get a job. You just may need to get a side hustle. There's no way around that. And that's a God honest truth. You just may now, because I did it. I took on substitute teaching while I was in that survival space. So I could, because I know coaching is what I needed. I know systems. I need systems in my business. So I took on a part-time job while I'm in survival space because I knew I didn't want to stay in that space. And I remember there's a lady that contacted me right when I got off a coaching program. And she's like, I'm watching you on Instagram, I'm watching you on Facebook, and I want to be in your program. And she said, but I'm living, I think she said she's living in a motel right now. And I was like, well, no, our hotel. And I'm like, no, you can't be in my program right now because you're in survival phase. Survival phase is you can't even sell your policies the way you want to because you're so busy thinking about, can I make this money? Or I have to pay the light bill, I have to pay the water bill, right? We all know we have to pay those bills, but if you're in that space, the way to get out of that space, and nobody want to hear this part, is to get a 9-to-5. It's to get a side hustle, or it's to put in the work, right? It's to put in the work, but we'll get to that later. We'll get to that later. So that's the survival phase, right? That's the first phase where you're living paycheck to paycheck and you're struggling to make ends meet. It's hard to sell policies from that phase because you're not your energy that you're selling the policy in is like a desperation, right? And so it's like a desperation. So how do you get out of that? You may have not something where it's full time or take up all your time, but you may have a side thing. Like you may have something where you have Monday and Tuesday, that's what you work at, this side job. And then the rest of the time is dedicated to your business, right? And when I was, and again, I can speak from these phases because I've been through all three of these phases. And what I did in the interim is saying, okay, what business can I get where I don't have to, what business can I get where I can create this, I still have my freedom to create my time. And so that's pretty much it with the survival phase. That's where we are. Then we get to what we call the comfort phase, right? So the comfort phase. So we just went over the survival phase. The comfort phase is where we have achieved some level of financial ability, right? We are no longer living paycheck to paycheck. We have enough money to cover our basic needs and some type of luxury, right? However, we're not financially free yet, and we still have to work hard to maintain our lifestyle. So the comfort phase is you may have one assistant that you're paying. You may have money coming in, but you physically still have to work. What I mean by you physically have to show up. You may be the graphic designer in your business. You may also be the social media manager in your business. You may not have a Jasmine yet, right? So that's what we call and Jasmine is my success coordinator, but you may be just you doing all the things in the beginning, right? So it's a comfort phase, right? You're still making some type of, hey, Shani, how you doing? Hey, how are you, Queen? How are you? So I want to really kind of point that out because that is the comfort phase. And that's why it's so important that you understand that. And the comfort phase is normally a person may have a 9-to-5, but they're doing insurance on the side, right? Or the person may have a full-time in their insurance business, but they also have a couple of downlines that's bringing them the money consistently. So then in what we call the comfort phase, right? Comfort phase is not bad. That everybody, if you're in survival phase, your job is to move to comfort phase. That's it. That's one step, not 10, one step. So, but the thing with comfort phase is you still have to show your face. People are not gonna buy stuff just because of your brand. You're not Beyonce yet, okay? Right? You still gotta show up. Trust me, I know. You still gotta show up. You still gotta play your role. You still gotta do certain things. You still gotta be findable, right? So that's what we call the comfort phase. All right, Kayla said that part, right? That part. And nobody don't tell y'all this. They're like, yeah, no, sign up. No, don't sign up. No. They only have to tell you survival phase and comfort phase, right? All right. So the next one is your abundance phase. Your abundance phase is where your ultimate stage is where you have achieved financial freedom. Where achieve, I think y'all see P. Diddy when P. Diddy say, I don't do ish in my business. He says, I hired enough people so I don't have to do anything. I think y'all see that reel that's going around with P. Diddy where he say he hired enough people so he don't have to do anything. So clearly P. Diddy is in what we call the abundance phase, right? Where he hired people so he can do less work. You mean, now do you have to be P. Diddy to be in that phase? No. And that's the joy of abundance phase. That is the joy of entrepreneurship. You don't need to be Beyonce. You don't need to be Steve Harvey. You don't need to be P. Diddy. That is the joy of the abundance phase. The joy of the abundance phase is I have a cleaner. I have somebody come in and clean the house. I have a tutor that come for my son. The things I have the food delivered to the house, right? Just certain things that you don't want to do because you want to focus on what you're good at. You want to focus on your talent, right? So that's the beauty about the abundance phase. Abundance phase doesn't mean that you have to make $1 million to have abundance phase. You may have assistants that's with you that also help you as well. You may have an automation person. Abundance phase look different for everyone, but you want to get to the point where the things that is not your expertise, you can outsource those things. And that's what I call the abundance phase. That's what I call the abundance phase. You may have a cleaner come in once a month to help you clean so you can focus and do your content, focus on showing up, focus on creating time with your family, right? So you may have a house assistant to help you out. That's what we call the abundance phase. That is what we call the abundance phase. Nikki said, I love the abundance phase too. I love it. We all, yes. And if you're my comfort people, your next step is the abundance phase. That's it. The next step is your abundance phase. So now, abundance phase doesn't mean you have 10 million followers. It doesn't mean like you have $1 million in the bank. That's why it's called abundance. Oh my gosh, I can't even wait to go over that at our conference because that's where people get misunderstood. Listen, people ask me all the time. I say I would not want Beyonce life. I would not. I want to be able to still enjoy life and show up where I want to show up and don't feel like I gotta leave and all this stuff. So it's so important that we understand the abundance phase is just freeing up your time to do the things that you are called to do. That's what the abundance phase is. Literally freeing up the time to do. If y'all see the things that I do, like today, my mom had knee surgery, and I dropped my son off to school. And normally I have somebody drop them off, right? So normally somebody would take my son to school, but because of the wedding, the person didn't take him, so I had to take him. Then I had to leave, go make sure my mom was okay. Then I had to come pick my son up from school. I'm like, this is ghetto. I'm doing too much work. This is ghetto. This is doing too much work here. And then I have to come back, and then I have to make sure they do his homework, and I have to do all this stuff, right? So the abundance phase, what the abundance phase look like is, hey, you may have somebody bringing your groceries so you don't have to go to the grocery store. You may have somebody come in once a month, clean your home. You may have somebody, an assistant that come over to assist you. You may have a system person. You may have a website person. You may have people who help client onboard and process people, right? You may have certain things where you can literally walk in your gift. So that's the aim. And that doesn't look like you have to have PDD money to do it. That's why it's called abundance. You get to define what abundance looks like. The abundance phase means you can take first class. You can sign up for VIP instead of general admission. Hello, y'all better get this VIP. I'm telling you, when this website dropped for this conference in Orlando, the abundance phase is you taking everybody to Universal Studios or Disney World here in Orlando. That's the abundance phase. Like, one of my clients, she said, Sharon, I come. I'm just bringing the whole family. We're staying a week, and we're also going to Universal Studios and then come to your conference. That's the abundance phase. You want to watch my client. That's the abundance phase. The abundance space is saying, hey, I want something different for my wedding. I want to go ahead and fly to another country for my wedding. That's the abundance space, and I'm not hurting my paycheck. So you have to define what the abundance space look like for you. It's not like a set definition. It's whatever. So you're not stressed out. So you're not panicking. So you're not having anxiety attack. I was talking to my family, and we were just like I said, I just came back from a wedding, and my family is Jamaican. So we think we have to do everything, right? We really think we have to do everything. They're not like me, like I hire this person, hire this coordinator, hire this person, hire that person. I just showed up in Jamaica. I just showed up all ready to go. What y'all doing? Because I ain't doing nothing. That's what I pay people to do. I feel like P. Diddy, right? We're talking about the abundance space. So my family's like, no, we're going to cook this. We're going to have the curry chicken. And we're going to have the curry goat. And we're going to have this. And they're like running around like a chicken with their head cut off. But I'm like, I'm like, no, baby. I'm a hire cook. I mean, I'm not doing all that. I'm not doing all that running around. That's stress, right? That's stress. So the abundance. So again, and they're like, oh no, why would we hire people and we know how to cook? That's on them. Everybody abundance space look different, but you have to know what that looks like for you. Shawnee said, my husband hired me a virtual assistant and my business is about to take off. Boom. Oh, that's a good husband, girl. Oh, that's a good husband, honey. Yes. Oh, yes, honey. That's abundance right there. Your husband alone was abundance. I love that. I love that for you. Yes, queen. I love that. He saw that you need help and he want to grow in your purpose. He want to help you birth your purpose. I love that. That's awesome. So the first thing before we get to the 3 money milestone, I want you to really take a look at what the abundance phase look like for you. I really want you to define that for yourself. I want you to write the vision, make it plain. What does I don't care if you're in the survival phase, baby. Because let me tell you something about the God we serve. You can be in a survival phase today, and another year, you're up in abundance phase. I know. Trust me, I know. You can be in 0 today and you're in 6 figures the following year. I know. Trust me, I know. So, but it starts with really getting clear on what abundance look like for you. That's getting clear on what abundance look like for you. Yeah. You know what? Y'all are in the chat. Nikki, I can't with you. I cannot with you, Nikki. Nikki says so she need a husband and a virtual assistant. Let me tell you. So speaking of husband, this is a side note. This is a side note, which y'all didn't ask for. I'm gonna bring it to you. Let me tell you about abundance. The wedding, my cousin's wedding that I emceed at yesterday, my cousin caught the bouquet at my wedding in Jamaica. So tell me about abundance. So she's like, I'm getting a husband. I want a husband, whatever. And let me tell you, my cousin like 5'4", like really short. And we had women there that was 5'7", 5'6", or taller, I would say. And some way, somehow, when I threw my bouquet, it went past all of them and landed right in her hands. And here we are. I got married in September. Here we are. What are we in? March. And she got married from September to March. So that's what I mean by abundance, right? Literally, she caught the bouquet. And she caught the bouquet at my wedding, and then she had her wedding yesterday. That's abundant phase. That's what I'm talking about. That's abundant phase. So getting super clear on what abundance phase look like for you. It's the ultimate stage where we have to achieve financial freedom. We have enough money to cover all our expenses, and we can live the life we want without worrying about money. We have a freedom to pursue our passion and live the life on our terms. Now, let me just point out about this abundant phase before we get into the next step. If this is good, give me a yes in the chat. If you're learning anything tonight, give me a yes in the chat. If you're just joining me, we're talking about the 3 phases of making money and your 3 money milestones. This is our Monday night training. We do this every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so the abundance phase. So literally, and I said that at her wedding, I said, this is somebody that literally caught my bouquet at my wedding, and here we are at her wedding. So God showed me constantly that if you write the vision, you step into the vision with your action, make it plain, step into it, act with it, he will give you the desire of your heart, because he gave her the desire of her heart. That's abundance phase. Yes. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you for your feedback. She said, I want me some abundance phase. Claiming it. Yes. Showing up as it, claiming it. I love when y'all talk back to me. I love it. Yes, correct. So that's that is the abundance phase. And again, you have to define what that looks like for your home, for your house, for yourself, for your peace, right? For your peace. So you won't be overwhelmed and you won't be stressed out, because some of y'all are operating in spaces that you're not called to operate in, but there's nobody else there. So you got to, so number one, I want you to reflect and say, hey, this is a phase I am in right now. We have survival phase, comfort phase, and abundance phase. So ask yourself, which one of these ones that I am in? Am I living paycheck to paycheck in the survival phase? Or am I living in the comfort phase where you're not just living paycheck to paycheck? You have a little more money coming in, but you're still having to do a lot of work by yourself. Or am I in the abundance phase where majority all my bills are covered, right? And I have enough money to cover all my expenses, and we live a life that we without worrying about money. And notice I didn't say we live a life that we're driving Mercedes Benz, or we're living in 2 storage homes. Notice I didn't say that, because everybody's happiness is different, but you have to define what that looks like for you, and nobody can tell you what that is. You have to write that vision for yourself. You have to take the time to put on paper. And the reason why we're confused, because no one do that first step. No one take that time, except for y'all smart people who's on here tonight, to really define what does your abundance phase look like. And that's what I'm creating, literally a whole conference around what it looks like for women who are seeking confidence and seeking that abundance. That's what it looks like, right? We don't have to be a celebrity. This is the life we're living now. You don't have to be a celebrity to have an abundance phase. You don't have to be there are coaches and people are insurance and finances that are making amazing money, and they're in the abundance phase. And the abundance phase allow you to give back to your, we dedicate 20% of our tickets. We're dedicating 20% of our tickets back to my y'all, most of y'all know this, that I have a school in Jamaica that I give back to. So 20% of our ticket sales to Orlando, to our boutique conference, is going to go back to the school in Jamaica that I attended. And if y'all have been on my masterclass, y'all seen that school, that Don Molly Basic School. So that's what things like that with the abundance phase. It's not just the money being able to use to impact your business, but impact other people's life. When I blessed that school and those kids in that school, I came out of that school. So I know what other kids who are sitting in that school, they just get opportunity, but they don't have the opportunity like we have in America, right? They don't have that. So if I can do it with very little from that school, I know a lot. I know what they can do as well. All right. So that was the abundance phase. Yes. I'm glad you guys are getting that. Let me move into the next phase. Am I frozen? Let me see. I want to make sure that I'm not frozen. All right. So let's move into the next phase. All right. I'm just checking because it looked like I was frozen on my thing. So I want to make sure that I'm not frozen. Okay, good. Okay, good. All right. So that was a phase of making money. That was a phase of, and no one want to tell you, even if you have to say, listen, I want to do this thing full time, but I need money to move into my phases. And if it means that you have to get a 9 to 5, that's what it means. And that's okay, right? Literally, that's okay. All right. Now that we identify the money, the 3 phases of making money, and we really dissect what those 3 phases look like, the next thing that I want to go over is the 3 money milestones. I taught this in July. Oh no, I'm sorry. I taught this in February with my Joyful Tribe ladies. That's why I'm trying to tell you I need to get a Joyful Tribe, but they already had heard this, so they're going to hear this again. So the 3 money milestones, right? So now we went over the survival phase, the comfort phase, and we went over the abundance phase. Now I want you to kind of learn what is the physical money milestone, because every time you turn around, you hear people say, I'll teach you how to make 6 figures. I'll teach you how to make 7 figures. And I myself have used it, but what does that look like? I want to go over that too, because now you're clear on what phase you are in. Now I want to show you how you get from one phase to the other, right? I want to show you how you get from one phase to the other. All right. So when we're talking about the 3 money milestones, it's important to know what year you're aiming for something. So the money milestones, you hear people say, whenever I'm on stage, I hear people say, oh, I want to make, how much money do you want to make? 10. It's always a 10K month. I always hear that. Like that's supposed to be I don't know, but everybody say that. When people say I want to make 10K months, that tells me they did not sit down and really hash out their expenses. They did not sit down. They're just saying it because it sounds good. And how do I know that? Because I was making 10K months and not knowing I was making 10K months because I wasn't checking in with my bookkeeper. I wasn't hiring a bookkeeper because I was too scared to hire a bookkeeper. I didn't want to know the numbers. And I had to get out of survival. Remember the survival phase. And even when I got out of survival phase and was in comfort phase, I didn't know I was in comfort phase because I didn't do my work. Because I didn't have a bookkeeper to tell me what I'm making every month. Because I was just like, oh Lord, I got to pay for another bookkeeper. You know how all of that. And then here I am already at my 10K and didn't know I was at my 10K. I hope I'm teaching somebody tonight. Trust me, just scarcity, limited belief system, all of that stuff, right? And when I said to myself, whoever my mentor, whoever I achieved, or whoever has been success in front of me, whoever she is, I always said, become her, become the woman you want to be. And I said, my woman, my millionaire woman, she knows how much money she makes per month. So if I'm truly her, because I always tell you, what does your 5-year self look like? I always say that when I'm on stage. I always say that. What does your 5-year self look like? And because I always say that to myself, my 5-year self, I always say, become her now. Whoever she is, become her now. So in knowing that and in saying that, if I'm becoming my 5-year self now, right, whatever she do, how she walk, how she talk, how does she brand herself, how does she show up, how is her marketing, who's her 5-star client, where does she hang out, what type of tickets does she buy when she go to these conferences to educate herself, all of that. Does she fly first class? Whoever she may be, your 5-year self, become her now. And I said to myself, okay, if I'm going to be becoming her now, she knows her numbers. She knows her numbers. She knows how much money she's going to make this month. She know what she need to do. She know what's going on in her business. So I need to show up as her now, not later. Yes, Shawnee, become her now. And that mindset, that energy truly changed my mindset and my belief system. Because if you don't become your 5-year self in 5 years, you become who she is now. You get the systems, the tool that your 5-year self would technically have now. All right. So knowing that, becoming her now, because here's what I think some of y'all missed this. I had to tell the people in the back. I was already at my 10K and didn't know I was at my 10K. I was already her, but because of my limited belief and my scarcity around money and my money triggers, oh my gosh, Lord Jesus, because of that, I didn't realize y'all better get these tickets for Orlando, honey. I didn't even drop the link yet. Y'all better put Orlando in the chat. I was already out. Here I am saying I want to make 10K, but because of my limited belief, because of my mindset, I was not prepared. I was scared to look at my numbers because but if you don't, when I say numbers, especially if you're in finance, helping all the financial people, right? Because I'm like, I'm not doing well. I'm scared to look. I'm scared. I don't know what's there. I don't know what's a number. So I was so scared to look. So that's why I create a whole Joyful Tribe Builder Academy around your energy of selling, around your energy of marketing. The whole Joyful Tribe program that I have for women in finance and insurance is around that, because our limited belief will say that we're doing bad when we're actually doing damn good. But we are so scared. We're scared to hire another insurance person or another tax person to do our books. So we're just so scared to want to see the number because it's reality. It's a reality. But we don't know what we're aiming for if we don't look. Okay. All right. I know that was a side note, but I had to speak on that. I had to tell my flaws. I don't have, I have a problem telling my flaws. So with that limited belief, I had to rewire, which is what I teach in my Joyful Tribe. I had to rewire my mindset around selling and marketing. I had to rewire my thinking. So if I want to become a woman that make multi-million dollars so I can impact my schools and impact my business, impact my clients. I love taking my clients and, hey, I want, this is on me today. I love that. I love giving back to the people who gave back to me, right? So if I'm going to do that, if I have to become her, so I cannot be, what does she look like? She's not afraid. What does your 5-year self look like? That woman is not afraid of knowing her number. That woman is confident to show up. That woman, the way she think is different. So if you become her, you become your 5-year self now, you embody that person. Oh gosh. We didn't even get to that 3 money milestone, but I just had to say that because when Beyonce, so when she get on stage, she create this Sasha Fierce. It's the same way you're creating your 5-year self now. This is so powerful, and I hope y'all paying attention to that. And when you become her now, we didn't use the money in our bank account to say, oh, we can't be her. No, you're using what we believe. And let me tell you why I said what we believe. When I was staying in my apartment, when I was paying for my apartment, when I got to my divorce, I was physically in the apartment, but everything of that location got on my nerves because I knew that's not where I was supposed to be. So even though I was there physically, that's where I had to hang out for a minute in my survival phase, right? Survival phase. I knew that I was called for more. So sometimes Shawnee, sometimes Carrie, sometimes Kathy, sometimes Nikki, sometimes God give you evidence that where you are now is not where you're supposed to be. You're trying to be humble, you're trying to be great, but you just can't do it because that is not you. You're called for bigger. And he give you small trigger signs. And sometimes you're so afraid to speak on those little triggers because you're afraid that if you say people think you're being too cocky, or people think you're being too much, or you're so afraid to speak on what your truly value is and worthiness is. Even if your current situation, even if you're in this current situation, right, and your surroundings does not look like it physically. I remember when I came to the United States, I'm an immigrant from Jamaica. That's what the accent is, Jamaican and Chinese. And when I came to America, I was so oblivious to racism. So they had a cheerleading squad at my school. This is how oblivious I am. So I had a cheerleading squad at my school, and I'm gonna try out, right? Jamaicans, we can dance, baby. We got rhythm and stuff. So I'm gonna try it out. Now I don't know how we're gonna pay for this. My mom already working 3 jobs and all this stuff. So I didn't even think about how I'm gonna pay for it. I didn't think about anything. I said I'm gonna try it out. So now around me, people are like, girl, don't pick no black girl for the cheerleading squad. It's all about your parents making money in the community. That's how they pick their people. I mean, they were telling me all sorts of stuff, but I'm so oblivious to what they're saying because I just want what I want, right? I'm oblivious to, I'm the only black girl trying out, but I'm so naive because I'm so focused on my intentions of what I desire. So I tried out and I made the team, not just the team, but the captain of the team, right? This is how much I'm naive to, and I think I love being that naive at the time because I didn't understand racism. I didn't understand all that because I came from a different country. So we didn't have that of what America have. So I was just going after my dreams and not allowing the excuses of what racism is to stop me. So it was not until later on somebody would say something to me, and I'm thinking they're just saying it. Somebody would pull me to the side and say, "Girl, no, they were race checking you," and I'm like, "Oh, they were! Oh my God, I didn't even know." I was like so oblivious. But I'm saying all that to say that that's how intentional that you have to be when you're chasing your dreams, because the sign that I was called for great, whenever you talk to somebody from my high school, or when you talk to somebody that know me from the past, they would say, "Oh, I know she was going to be successful. I knew she." So what am I saying? That you too, Kathy, you too, Shawnee, you too, Carrie, you too, Nikki, it's the same thing. You get some signs that you're called for bigger, even in your small situation, or you look around, you're like, Sherry, what are you talking about? My car barely worked and I barely have gas tomorrow. But there's signs that, like, I remember even in my apartment, and for the record, I made the most money when I was in my apartment. I made the most money. I had a 60K month when I moved out of my 60K month. So there are signs that tell me that I was called for more, but I was like, there's triggers, and I know y'all know what I'm talking about. Give me a high five in the chat if you feel that way sometime. I know we're going to get to our money milestones. I promise you, I'm going to get to that. But I just want to point it out. That's how you know you're called for more. If you're sitting in a room and you're like, no, I'm not going to speak because I don't want anybody to think I'm taking over, and so on and so forth. And then somebody just call your name and you're like, darn, I'm trying to just be humble and not sit here. And you're like, I'm telling you, there's little signs that God give you a little vision, like, girl, this is not, you're bigger than this. Even when I was on my job, and it was on my job when I was in law enforcement, I was on my job, and I would get certain assignment that the other officers didn't get. Like, I would get assignment to go speak if the sheriff, our sheriff was not able to speak. I would go do presentation as identity theft presentation. I would get my own car, and it would just things that I would get that show me that what I'm doing. I'm called for more. And guess what? Let me tell y'all something. People around you see that calling on your life before you even see it. That is the most craziest thing. Other people see it on your life. So even my friends who are from high school, they were like, girl, I knew she was going to go do something good. I knew that, right? I was hosting conferences for the community to come and showcase the inmates in jail that was doing something with their life and what the different programs that we had in the jail, not knowing now I am out here hosting my own conferences, but I was getting a taste. So that's what I'm saying, that there's evidence, like you at work, or maybe God's showing a different way. And sometimes you get irritated with things because the purpose of that irritation, you think is anxiety or stress, but it's really just a trigger that's teaching you that you're called for more. It's just a trigger inside of you that, baby, you're bigger than this. You're bigger than this, but you just want to be humble. You don't want to ruffle feathers. You don't want to think that you're more. Oh, Lord Jesus, God, give me strength. You don't want to make you feel like you're more than and all this stuff. So it's not until I break out on my own and said, if I'm just going to jump, and if I land, I land. If I don't, I don't. It's not until I decided to go out on my own, then I started seeing the manifestation of what was happening. But at that time, yep, she said, that's the word, restlessness. You're that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. So some of y'all are feeling stressed or anxiety, but I want to assure you that stress and anxiety is because it's saying that you're called for more. You're called for more. Go ahead and go do big. You're called for more. And I just wanted to point that out to you because there are times I would go somewhere and I would say, I'm going to go support somebody. And I would just go. I'm not speaking. I'm just going to go support somebody. And then I'm in the back, right? And I would say, I'm just here to support so-and-so. And then you'd be like, oh, Sherry just walked in. Let's hear what Sherry have to say. And I'm like, oh, God, I just came to support. I just came to support. I just came to be humble. But it's like, no matter with your gifts, when you're trying to cover it up, God would always find a way to expose your gifts and expose your talent. Expose your gift and expose your talent to the point where you just have to surrender to it. Anyways, I went left, but I think somebody needed to hear this today. Somebody needed to hear this today. Trust me, because I think you know that you're called for more, and you just been trying to be humble. I think you know you can do more, right? And the reason why, like, there are people, like, they're smart individuals who tell me, there's somebody, yeah, that's one of the words they use. Good point. They already say I'm extra. That's what, yes, but that's signs. That is signs that you're on the right track. On signs that you're on the right track. And how you know you're on the right track, I'm going to break down your 3 money milestones. Number 1, Your first money milestones when you're coming into this space is your job, your goal for the year is to move from 0 to 100K, right? To from 0 to 100K year, right? So I remember making the 100K, but then I was making 100K in the 2 year mark, the 3 year mark, and then it started making 100K in the 1 year mark, right? So your goal is to move from 0. That's number one, right? Your your 3 money milestones. So your money milestones, if you're following with me, is number one, you want to make, if you're, no matter where you're on the spectrum, your goal, your revenue goal is to make your first 100K, 0 to 100K. That's your first goal, right? If you're already making 100K, great. If you're not, that's what you go within the 12 months. That's your first goal, right? Based on the phases of what we just talked about, your comfort phase, survival phase, and abundance phase. Then the next money milestone, here's where people get it wrong. They think it's 100K to $1 million. It is not. Y'all be getting some good free teaching this. Oh my gosh. So it's not. If you're making 0 to 100K, your next money phase is 100K to 300K, not to $1 million. 300K. That's what people don't tell you, but I'm going to tell you. So you're 100K, 0 to 100K to 300K. And then from 300K, then your phase is to $1 million. Then it's to $1 million. Even if you're making 6 figures, you still need to get to the 3 and 4 mark before you hit $1 million, because by that time you're in a different tax bracket. By that time you have some type of team. What the services that you're required from 0 to 100K is completely different from the service that's required from 100K to 300K, right? And that's so important to understand. And the service from 300K to $1 million is completely different. Here's the thing: the mindset from 0 to 100K is different from the mindset from 300 to from 100 to 300K, and of course from 300 to $1 million. Those 3 money milestones. So when you get to 100K, it's not like celebrate, great, but now you need to be making 300K to $1 million. I'm sorry, 100K to 300K. That's the next month. That's the next milestone, and that's when you bring in a support staff, support team, and all that stuff. So we have this thing. What I do on stage is called you're building, you're growing, and you're scaling. So building is you're at 0 to 100K. We will call that your build stage, right? You're still building your business. You may use all the little angles in your business. Y'all need to tax your business bestie so they can get these nuggets. So that's the 0 to 100K. You're in the build stage. You're doing most of the stuff by yourself. And then the 100K to 300K mark, you are in the growth stage. I think I called another name for my Joyful Tribe, but you're in the growth stage. You're literally growing your business. You're not scaling yet. You're just growing your business. You have a few people, but you still got to show up for certain parts of the business. You still got to show up. You got to oversee, and you still got to show up, right? That's the growth stage. And then so you're now in the build, grow, and scale. The scale stage, you're just overseeing everything. You may have a COO, right? You still have a chief officer that looks over everything for you. You just kind of show up and make sure everything is running in place. You got some W-2 people. So that's completely different. So that's, now you understand the build, grow, and scale. Now you understand the 0 to 100, 100 to 300, and 300 to 400 300 to $1 million. Now you kind of understand them. You now should be able to say, hey, where am I on this spectrum, and where do I need to be? What do I need to do? What do I need to do to get to the next level? That's the conversation you have to have yourself. Who do I need to invest with to move that angle inside of my business? We're happy to have you inside of a Joyful Tribe. You can just comment joyful below, and we'll be able to have a conversation with you to see if you're a good fit for our program. But understanding that the money, that the mindset is the most important thing. The most important thing. You should step into it. Yes, the mind. I'm going to end here, but I just want to kind of share that with you because people you've been looking at social media and they've been telling you go from 0 to 1 million. No, you can't. If you make, now I understand if you win the lottery or that's something different, but and let's be clear, you don't even want to go from 0 to 1 million. You don't, because if you don't have the mindset necessary to handle $1 million, I was talking to somebody. I said, hey, if I send you 30 clients right now, what would you do? And she said, Sherry, I would run in the room and I would put my sheets on. I would go to bed and I would be so stressed. I just need to go lay down. She's like, I would just be so stressed because I don't have systems in place. I don't have things in place. I don't have onboarding processes in place. I don't have any of that. So I would just go run in the room and just cover it up because it will be a lot for me. That's because the mindset required is to have systems and all this stuff in place. So when you move so fast, I have people who is making $500K in this business per year, $500K, and they left the business. And I have surpassed them because they left the business because they made their money so fast and they didn't have the system to maintain it. So that's why I said, be patient with the process, enjoy the ride, learn as you go. Now that you know your 3 phases of making money, and now you know your 3 money milestones, you also need someone to assist you get to the next level. And that's where that comes in. You also need people to say, okay, here I am. What do I need for the next thing? And what do I need to build for the next thing? And I'm going to tell you what you need as we end out here. You need, if you're no matter what stage you're in, the beauty of the stage, you have to create a foundation of tribe that are custom to you, custom to your mission, custom to what you believe in. You have to create that customer tribe. You have to create your own beehive that understand and believe in your business. You have to create a custom audience that believe in the mission. Notice I didn't say your brand. I said the mission of what you believe in. That's why the group is called Joyful Tribe Builder Academy. Woo! She said lottery would be nice as well. Yeah, it would be nice as well. But guess what? After 7 years, lottery winners always go bankrupt or lose their money. Why? Because they got the money and they didn't get the mindset necessary to go with the money. So lottery winners always lose their money because they go broke within that 7 years because they have no mentorship, no coaching to tell them, hey, how do I get to the next level? Right? I pay one coach and I pay another coach who are ahead of me, right? Who are ahead of me to tell me, hey, you should do this, you should do that. Don't do this, or don't do that. So it's so important that you as a person who deal with other people also have a coach and have a therapist. Therapist is so important too as well. All right, y'all, we're jumping off, but before we jump off, there are 2 things I want you to do. If you are interested in heading to Orlando on July 15th with me, you're gonna be hearing this a lot, and you want to know more about our boutique, that's my favorite word, conference that's coming up in Orlando, go ahead and put Orlando in the chat. If you also want to learn more about our Joyful Tribe program, put Joyful in the chat. In the meantime, y'all, and between time, I gotta say this. She says, step into it. Step into your abundance phase. All right. Yep, your gifts will make room for you. It's showing up will. She said, I needed this message. Yes, Queen. Thank you for stopping by. All right, guys, that's all I got for y'all today. Make sure you put Orlando in the chat or Joyful Tribe if you're want to be part of our Joyful Tribe program. It's your girl, Sherry Summer Bell. Talk to you later. Have a good night.